Nobody wants to accidentally assign one too many tasks to an agent. That would be bad for productivity. If you agree, then you need to watch this video on how to use Zoho Project's resource utilization chart. If you're liking our videos so far, let us know by liking and subscribing.
If you're willing to track the user's availability or to set user's capacity per day, then you can use the resource utilization chart. Click on the reports in the left navigation panel and then move to the resource utilization chart in the drop-down menu. Now you see the chart and you need to define two preconditions before using such chart. The first precondition is that you need to set the business hours per organization. Such business hours will be reflected when you click on the plus button and want to add some task for user for some date, and then you will see the business card. So the amount of work allocated hours and the free time. The work allocated hours per day are now set as 8 hours per day. But if you want to change the amount of hours per day, so like the user capacity, you need to go to the setup, then move to portal and configuration section, date and time settings. Here is the business hours section, and you can define the business hours per all organization and the start at, end at options. So now the business hours start at 10 a.m. and end at 6 p.m. And the interval between start at and end at is calculated by the system, and this interval is 8 hours. So this is our work hours allocation, and this is the work allocation limit per day. So in such case, we see that work allocated limit is 8 hours and free time is 0 hours. Or when we click to the demo user to the 4th November date, we see that work allocated hours are 3 hours and we have free time for 5 hours per day until the 15th of November. So we can add the task directly from the resource utilization chart by clicking on the plus button. We select the project to which we want to add the task. We define the task list that is available here. The owner is automatically assigned because we create the task directly from demo user view. And then we can set, and when we define the start date, then we can see and check the user allocation based on the date. So now when we are on the 4th November, then we see that the user is under allocated, and the user is under allocated till 15th November. And the work hours per day for such demo user are allocated only for 3 hours. But beginning from 16th November to 30th of November, we see that the user is already over allocated and the amount of work hours per day for such users is 11 hours. So we don't need to add more tasks because user is already over allocated for such time period. That's why we can create the task directly from 4th November to 15th November, and as we see and as we have checked on the allocation card that the work hours per day are 3 hours. So we have only 5 hours left, and we can set work hours as there are two options. We can set standard hours and we can define the work hours per day as, for example, 5 hours per day. There are also the possibility to set work hours per day in percentage and also the total work hours. But we will use now the work hours per day. Click Done, and after that add the task. And now, as you see, the picture is really realistic and kindly good. So beginning from the 4th of November to the 15th of November, the user is pretty good allocated with the work hours. And if the user is not over allocated, the date is colored in green. But if the user is over allocated, then the date is colored in red. And this is the red flag for us. So also there is the possibility to click under the user and we can see the amount of tasks based on each project to which the user is added. So here we can see that, for example, demo user is allocated as 88 hours per November for the test project. For sprints projects, the user has only 8 hours allocated per month. And the Explore Zoho projects has 97 hours per month. So this is like the time-assuming project for the demo user. So, for example, we can see that there are several tasks, test 1 and test task. So now we can see that the user is not over-allocated during these hours, these dates, but we can move to the time period beginning from the 16th of November to the 30th of November, and user is over-allocated. We need to do something with that. We can track that user 2 is not allocated at all during the 16th November and unallocated till the 30th of November. So we can just remove some tasks from demo user and reassign them to user 2. So we can click on this task and click Assign User and change this task allocation from demo user to user 2 and click Save. So in such case, we see that the task was reassigned to user 2, but the user is over-allocated from 22nd November to 30th November. Then we can check and go deeper to user 2 tasks, and there are operations tasks. So we can reassign such tasks, for example, to demo user to have the workload balance. And in such case, you see that we can just close everything, and the demo user is pretty good allocated with the time, and the user 2 is also pretty good allocated from the 16th November to the 30th November. So in such case, we solved such over-allocation problem, and for demo user and for user 2. Thank you for watching.
That's it for the Zoho project's resource utilization chart walkthrough. What other Zoho-related videos have been your favorite so far? Let us know in the comments below. Help us grow our community, subscribe and share our videos to your friends. Have questions? We're here to help at know-how@customerization.ca.